Conservatives are destroying the GOP's chances at regaining the White House. Conservatives are destroying the GOP's chances at regaining the White House. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Political Buzz Network, and my name is Laurel. On this vlog, I would like to address the issue of the conservative movement fighting against candidates who are campaigning for president on the GOP ticket, candidates like Donald Trump, conservatives that are speaking out against Donald Trump via the National Review magazine and so forth. And let's back up and to discuss what conservative or conservatism is. Let's back up to discuss the conservative movement or conservatism. Okay, so conservatism originated in the 15th century. The conservative movement is a movement based upon traditional values. The conservative movement originated in the 15th century of our country, 15th century, and it's based upon traditional values. Some of the founding fathers of the conservative movement are men such as Richard Hooke, Edmund Burke, Qutin Hogg, and there's even a man from France who was a founding father of the conservative movement in France. His last name was Chateaubriand. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't speak French, but it's spelled Chateaubriand. So the founding fathers of the conservative movement, which originated in the 15th century, are Edmund Burke, Qutin Hogg, Richard Hooke, and then we have the gentleman from France whose last name was Chateaubriand. All right. So the conservative movement, as I stated, its foundation is based upon traditional values. For example, traditional marriage between one man and one woman, as it states in the Bible, in the God's holy word. Marriage between one man, one woman, traditional marriage. Pro-life, protecting the life of unborn children. Pro-life, protecting the life and the rights of unborn fetuses, unborn babies, unborn children. Those are some of the values of conservatism. And then also religious freedom to worship God. Religious freedom to worship God and to respect God's holy word, the Bible. So those are some of the attributes. Those are some of the attributes which describe the foundation of the conservative movement. So people who believe in such values, they're calling them conservatives. Now, conservatives, when George W. Bush was campaigning to be president of the United States of America, I didn't hear about conservatives. I heard about Democrats and Republicans. So when George W. Bush was campaigning to be president of our nation, both terms, his initial election and then his re-election, I didn't hear about conservatives. I only knew of, per the media, I only knew of Democrats and Republicans. Okay? Now, many people say that Ronald Reagan was a conservative, but when Ronald Reagan was campaigning for president, of course, I was a child because I'm not that old. As I stated to you all before in previous videos, I am not that old. Okay? I am younger than President Obama and Michelle Obama. I am not super old. All right? So I haven't been around forever. And when Ronald Reagan ran for president, I was a child. So, when Bill Clinton ran for president, I was a young adult. I didn't hear about conservatives or conservatism. I only knew of Republicans and Democrats. I heard about the libertarian movement via Ralph Nader. When Ralph Nader was running for president, that's when I learned about the libertarian movement. But the libertarian movement is actually an arm that comes from the GOP. Just like liberalism comes from the Democrats, the libertarian movement comes from the GOP, the Republican Party. The liberals come from the Democrats, and the libertarians come from the GOP, the Republican Party. Well, the conservative wing of the party, that comes from the Republican Party as well. So conservatives are supposed to be another arm of the Republican Party. Just like progressives are another arm of the Democrats. So on the Democrat side, you have regular Democrats, progressives, and liberals. On the Republican side, or the GOP side, you have conservatives and you have libertarians, along with regular Republican voters. Now, the conservative voters are supposed to be those who are holier than thou. I repeat, the conservative voters are supposed to be voters that are holier than thou, coming from the Republican Party. And they're supposed to be those who uphold the Constitution. They support God's word. They are advocates of pro-life, and they are, and they believe in freedom of religion, and so forth. And okay, so those are people who are conservatives. And they're supposed to be the litmus. Like, if you're running for president now on the Republican Party ticket or the GOP ticket, you're supposed to be able to pass a conservative litmus test. Now, the conservative wing of the party is supposed to be the far right wing. So the conservatives are supposed to be the far right wing of the party, just as liberals and progressive are the far left wing of the Democrat Party. Okay, well, the conservative movement is now attacking Donald Trump. GOP candidate running for president on the 2016 GOP ticket, Donald Trump, is being attacked by conservatives and the National Review. The National Review is supposed to be a quote-unquote conservative right-wing magazine, which I don't believe it, because I've read the National Review. I've read many articles from the National Review, and a lot of their articles sound liberal to me. So I don't understand how the National Review magazine can consider itself a conservative publication when a lot of their articles sound liberal. But yet they claim to be a conservative magazine. And they are publishing articles that are opposing Donald Trump. Now, if Donald Trump gets the nomination for the GOP presidential ticket, it would be quite foolish to me for the conservative voters of the GOP to abandon Donald Trump. This seems to me like there's some dirty politics at play here, because if it's more important for you to win than to have your own way, then why not focus on winning? I repeat, if it's more important for you to win than to have your own way, then why not focus on winning collectively, as a party? If it's more important for the Republican Party, for the GOP to win, why not unify, conservatives unify with the regular GOP establishment and regular GOP voters? Why not unify and win versus splitting and losing and giving the White House to Hillary Clinton by default? Now, when Obama was running for president in 2008, when President Obama was campaigning for president in 2008, the liberals and progressives were fighting against the Democrat establishment leaders. Do y'all remember that? Because I do. The progressives and liberals were fighting against the Democrat key leaders and the Democrat key leaders of the Democrat establishment. And later on, many people said it was due to racism. Many people said that the progressive leaders in 2008 and the liberal leaders in 2008 were actually posing as progressive and liberals when they were actually racist and who didn't want a black man to run for president. Well, the conservatives, Donald Trump is white, so we can't say that's race. We can't say what the conservatives are doing is contributing to racism, because Donald Trump is white. However, Donald Trump is attracting a lot of black voters. Donald Trump is a white man running for president on the 2016 GOP ticket, and he's attracting a lot of black voters like myself into the Republican Party tent. So these so-called conservative voters who are coming out against Donald Trump, or these so-called conservative leaders who claim to be people who are Christians and who believe in God's word and who support the Constitution and pro-life and Christian values and traditional values, but yet they're fighting against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is all about unification. He's all about unifying our country, not dividing us. Trump is about unifying our country, strengthening our military, defeating ISIL, bringing jobs back to our nation, supporting small businesses and Wall Street. Trump is also about freedom of religion, freedom of speech. So why would the conservatives fight against somebody who stands for those type of traditional values? This conservative movement appears to be race-baited, race-motivated, because Donald Trump is the only GOP presidential candidate right now who is attracting a large number of black voters. Black voters are only interested right now, mainly, by and large, on the GOP ticket. They're only interested right now, by and large, with Donald Trump and supporting Donald Trump. So now Sarah Palin is a conservative. She just endorsed Trump. This week, Sarah Palin endorsed Donald Trump Tuesday night of this week. She's a conservative. So why come out now, conservative leaders and National Review magazine, and destroy Trump? If Trump can lead your party to victory in the White House, why are you fighting against this man? Why, conservative leaders? Can you explain why? Justify your reason for opposing a man on your party's ticket, the Republican Party's ticket, who can lead your party to political victory in November 2016 against Hillary Clinton, the Democrats' presumptive front runner and nominee. So you're willing to forego victory in the White House just to have your way because black voters are supporting Trump versus supporting Trump as well, versus you joining in and supporting Trump to help lead the GOP to victory. You're willing to forego victory, forsake and forfeit victory in the White House, and let Hillary Clinton take the White House by default so you can have your way. That doesn't make sense. I smell some dirty politics in play. Now, I don't know who is paying off these conservative leaders. I don't know who's paying off the National Review magazine or who's made them some promises politically. Maybe someone from the Democrats, maybe some Democrat key leaders have made some promises to the National Review magazine and some conservative leaders behind the scenes. But it's foolish. It's foolish. The conservative leaders either need to join them or shut up. Conservative leaders, you need to be quiet and join in with supporting Donald Trump and your party versus splitting the GOP, or shut up. Shut up, conservative leaders. If you can't join them, then be quiet. If you can't join them, be quiet. Don't try to destroy your own party. That's foolish. When you're this close, the GOP is this close, within reach of regaining the White House. But yet the conservatives are trying to destroy the opportunity for the GOP to regain the White House. I wonder if the conservative founding fathers would be happy with what the conservatives of today are doing. I wonder if Richard Hook, Edmund Burke, Qutin Hogg, or Mr. Chateaubriand from France, I wonder how they would feel if they knew that the 21st century conservative leaders are willing to destroy and bring down the entire GOP via a GOP Civil War split over nothing, all because they dislike one candidate, Donald Trump. I wonder what the founding fathers of the conservative movement would be saying now. Are they turning over in their graves? Are the founding fathers of conservatism, are they turning over in their graves? Probably so. This is a shame to see how the GOP is splitting versus unifying for victory. You need to unify, not split. Unify, not split. Not split. Divided, you fall. United, you stand. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.